Hi everyone, very good evening to all. I hope I'm audible. And welcome back, Leela again in this SD-WAN session. And everyone, I'm audible, guys.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Hi, RK. Very good evening to all.
Yeah, good evening.
Very good evening. All right, so let's just start this agenda. And definitely we'll do discussion about now core things because in last session we had a basic understanding about the past, about the WAN, right? Now we have to talk core concept of the SD-WAN. Just so you just consider the prerequisite has been discussed. Now we have to start with day zero. Means we are officially going to start with the SD-WAN syllabus, right? From today onward. So whatever I'm going to discuss, that is going to be considered as a day zero or day one, where we am going to discuss about the officially content, officially syllabus, and probably from next week onward, we start doing the configurations as well once we have the complete head end and branch end understanding. Okay, so before I jump in, if anyone have any questions, please let me know. Any clarification, any questions based on the our previous chit chat, some general discussion about the routings, routing protocol, routed protocol, some real-time example I have given that how the problem has been arise in the your legacy WAN and how this SD-WAN is going to solve this problem. But that was just basic discussion. All right, so anytime if you guys have questions, any feedback, any suggestions, feel free to put in chat. And the communication is going to be two-way, not just only one way. So you can put in chat is going to be only come to me, not in group chat. So try to click on my name and you can put your query in the chat. You can raise your hand, you can ask your questions, unmute yourself. But be mindful when I'm just delivering the lecture, try to mute yourself and try to be, available in the peaceful location, not in the traffic jam, or might be you're traveling, so you just mute yourself, or not in somewhere where television is just like running, or might be some kind of the celebration is happening. So you're not able to focus on that. These are the like my advice for you all. All right, guys. So basically, there was a lot of challenges in the legacy WAN solutions. So if I just quickly if I just quickly uh, discuss that. So these were the challenges. We have the benefits, right? Definitely we discuss a lot, but challenges we have in the legacy WAN is kind of we have the complex operations, high cost, limited scalability. We do not have the cloud readiness. So if you're going to deploy the SD-WAN solutions, if you want to, means the legacy WAN solution, you already deployed that, and you want to integrate your WAN with the different cloud providers like private cloud, public cloud. So that is also going to create a lot of complexity. So that also one of the challenges. And if you want to do that, you have to do a lot of kind of the additional overhead configurations. Fragmented security, that means if you want to integrate the security, so you must have to always deploy some third-party firewall. You might be integrate the Palo Alto firewall, FortiGate firewall, Checkpoint firewall, Cisco firewall. So just to achieve this security, and that might be your branch location, data center locations. Some scenario it is going to be even the DNS security, cloud security like Zscaler integration, Prisma Access integration, Cato integration, Netspoke integrations. So security is going to be fragmented. It's going to be not in the very sync in the all place, not going to be similar kind of deployment. You cannot do any kind of the routing based on the applications in legacy WAN. Have you guys heard about that? You can doing routing on the Facebook, Yahoo, Gmail. No, you cannot do that. So if you not do the application aware routing, that might be you can achieve some little bit based on the N bar and all. But that is not basically very good solutions. So again, you have the limited security. You always going to face insufficient bandwidth issues. Might be you take in the dual circuit. One circuit is going to be fully utilized, another circuit is sitting idle. So you keep upgrading the bandwidth, but you're not utilizing the another circuit bandwidth because you deploy the most of the traffic like active passive. In case of the WAN solution, some scenario we use the active, but that is also not to be effective. So just, handle the all equivalent kind of traffic and scenario. And disjoint solutions, we have the not very uniform solution throughout the fabric. So we have some sort of the different solution for different locations. And based on that different solutions, different location, you might be adding unnecessary complexity on the network. So business ready have the lot of challenges, and those challenges were overcome by the your SDN solutions. How they can overcome that all challenges? What were the key concept? So I discussed initially when I started this lecture in a demo sessions. Means many people were there, almost 20. I believe there was people. Right now we have a 12 only. So demo generally come more people. So I have seen that a lot of people are coming and ask a lot of questions, basic questions, and some people are having the good understanding, some not having the good understanding. So we discuss about key component like what is the control plane data plane, and we agree that control plane is a nervous system, right? Your brain, and this control plane is nothing, it's your routing. So routing is going to be there, who just going to be manage your any packet is coming for the like one source on our destinations, how they are going to be reached from one source on our destinations. Routing is going to help to the just forward the packet. Means it will just advise how to forward the packet. So that is a control plane. That is a routing. It could be the OSPF, it could be the BGP, it could be the EIGRP, and it could be might be your any kind of the request static routing. So this is a control plane, and this is a legacy router, guys. This is the legacy router and legacy switches. Whatever you can think about that. They have the data plane. This data plane is known as the IO module. So IO is a input output module. So in this data plane, if any packet I am receiving from the any PC and they want to communicate to another PC, your packet is going to punt in your interface, and based on that, they will consult with the control plane. Hey, can you just tell me how I can reach from one destination to another destinations? Then control plane is going to be advise you which path you should follow to reach the destination based on the routing configurations. So this is where your control plane is going to picture. But how they're going to talk? This is a different plane, this is a different plane. But if they want to talk to each other, how they can talk to each other? How they can talk to each other? So this is only possible if you have some kind of the broker. Means broker is not right term, but I'm just saying is the mediator. So mediator is nothing. Whenever you're going to, this is the one slot, this is another slot. If you're going to jack in, jack out, means jack in is basically you're putting the slot inside of your router. So it is going to make a full circuit by connecting the ASIC in the back plane. Similarly, this plane is going to be also connected in the back plane. So you're going to insert the card and their ASICs are going to make the full circuits. So technically from the back end, they have the full connectivity. And this connectivity broker is known as switch fabric. So basically it is joining the two components together. So any packet is coming here and they want to take the decision from control plane, they will go via this one and take the decisions, then again back to here and will forward the packet. So inside the box, we have the major three component: control plane, data plane, and the switch fabric. Switch fabric is connecting to control plane, data plane. That is the IO module. And this is how your entire routing is going to work. So this architecture is known as the closed boxed architecture. This architecture is known as a closed box architecture. Means everything, your control plane, every router have their control engines, their data plane engines, and their switch fabric, which is going to communicate these two planes together. And based on that, you're doing the all kind of the communication. So if you have the 100 routers, 100 switches, they have the 100 brains, 100 data planes. So by leveraging the same situations, the SD-WAN evolved in such a way where they decouple these all three components. If I'm talking about decouple, means they separated from the router plane. What they did, they removed the brain and put in some one location. They removed the data plane, put in some other location. They removed the switch fabric and put in some other location. And now if he want to communicate, he will go via this. If he want to communicate, he will go via this, right? So this is how it is going to happen. If they want to communicate, go this. They want to communicate, go this. They want to communicate, go this. But in this between, the middleman is going to be your switch fabric. Means this is your control plane, this is your data plane, and the broker is going to be your switch fabric. And this is going to be make the communication between these two. So brain is not going to be your within the router. Data plane is going to be within the router. That's for sure. And to make them communicate, we use the ISP that is going to act as a switch fabric. So brain is going to sit in the USA, data is sitting in the India. And if he want to make any decisions, they first go in the USA, then he will take decision back to the India, then they will communicate. So this is how it is going to be architecture is going to happen. This is a closed bus architecture. When you decouple this entire solution, this is going to become the open box architecture, and this is where SD-WAN come in a picture. So this is the core architecture of the SD-WAN. Okay. In this architecture, you can see that we have again IO module. This IO module where my end devices are going to be connected. Let's suppose this is my one PC. This is my another PC. So end devices are going to be connected in the IO modules, right? And these IO modules further, let's suppose this is the one subnet 10.10.10.10. This is a 20.20.20.20. If these two want to communicate, how they can communicate? They cannot directly communicate because these routers are going to be brainless router, dumb router, and dumb router. They don't have any kind of intelligence. We remove all the brains from routers and put these brains in the central locations. So if I have 1,000 routers, their all brain are going to be remote locations. So if they want to communicate, they will reach to the brain, they will take decisions, then it will go back to again the ports. This is how your routing is going to happen. So routing is never going to be stay within the box. That is very high level. Low level, I'll explain how it is going to be look like. But very high level, it is going to be in this way only. So we'll put in the brain in somewhere, and that brains are basically known as the controllers. These controllers, again, we discuss about three names: vManage, vSmart, and vBond. This is the old name. New name is going to be manager. It's going to be controller. And third is the validator. So these three things are going to be happen. Right? This is the controller, manager, and validator. These three things are going to be there, and based on that, we can just do the all communications. And now, what is the switch fabric? Switch fabric who just making the communication between these two components. That is your ISP. It could be the MPLS, could be the broadband, and could be the 4G internet. So might be you thinking, if this was architecture, why it was not evolved before 2015, 2014, or 2016? Why it's come in middle of just 2015 or 2016? Why it's become so boom? So the simple answer is, earlier when you talk about the 10-year back, 12-year back, internet was not so reliable. Even I remember when I moved in 29 in Delhi, getting a very good internet, it was very challenging, right? Even when I was in college, and we have to watch some movies. So we use the speed on the internet like 64 kbps, 124 kbps, and one movie download take 5 days. We use the BitTorrents. Let's suppose we have to watch any movies, Hollywood, Bollywood. So by downloading this movie, sometimes it take 3 days, 4 days, 5 days to download the movie because the speed was not that much capable during the era of like 2005, 9, 10, 11, and 12. But gradually, we've seen a lot of improvement in the internet infrastructure. They having the dedicated SLA. If you're going to take the dedicated internet read line right now, they will give the dedicated SLA. Means complete throughput is going to be there. Whatever the download is speed, whatever the upload is speed, they all are going to be there. And based on that, you can do seamless connection from the any kind of the communications. And that's the reasons after 2015-16, this become a successful switch fabric. Because require the millisecond, microsecond of the delay to make the communication. If you're not getting the proper update from the controller to the router, how it is going to be took the decisions? Because packet cannot wait for longer period of time. So you must have to get real-time updates, immediate update within the microsecond, milliseconds. When you click, your update should be available in the routers. So this only possible you have the very low latency, high speed circuits or very reliable dedicated circuits to just pass the control traffic. So this is the three component, and this is known as the decoupled architecture. One is the closed box architecture. This is decoupled architecture, or we can say the open architecture, where you putting all three plane in the different location, and this is the key component. And whenever I talk a data plane, you just think about any router is going to be on data plane. Router could be your vEdge router. Router could be your cEdge router. This combined known as the vManage router. So if I'm talking the vManage, you just consider I'm talking the vEdge or cEdge. If I'm taking the vEdge name, cEdge name, you just think about I'm talking about the routers only. cEdge is Cisco Edge, vEdge is Viptela Edge. That's all. Now, when I'm talking switch fabric, this is nothing. It's a ISP. Any ISP, 4G, 5G, LTE, satellite, any MPLS, internet, could be anything. And if I talk in the controllers, three component: vManage, vSmart, vBond, or the new name can be manager, validator, and the controller. All right, so this is the two slides I need to discuss from this particular my slide deck. Now I have to move in the different slides. Now let me move on the Cisco SD-WAN solutions by the Cisco. So already we have very good discussion problem with the legacy WAN solutions. Who missed that my last class, that was demo class, and I discussed about the problems. Just go with the recordings. Still, it is the past, right? But we are going to talk about the futures. So it's just basic discussion. I discuss about like what are the problem and how we're going to mitigate those problems. So we'll discuss all solution in this particular solutions, means SDN solutions. But yes, legacy WAN have just now before beginning of the class I discussed about they have the security issue, cloud readiness, bandwidth issue, disjoint solutions, high cost, cloud readiness is not available. So those are challenges, and we have the hub and spoke architectures. Like everyone is sitting on the remote location. If they want to communicate, your traffic is going via data centers. Data center also is going to be one of the central location to make all communication for any cloud application, any SaaS application, cloud application, branch to branch communication also going to be from your data center. So data center is going to be one of the critical point for you. If this is going to be collapse, your entire business is going to be collapse. So you have to make sure my data center should be always up and working. And for that, you have to invest a lot of money. And also you have to make DC and DR. So that is going to create a lot of cost. But so why not I can build something else which require less money, but is still going to give that much flexibility what data center can do that in terms of the routing, security, and the connectivity with the better user experience. For that reason, we have the new solution that is a Cisco SD-WAN solution. And this solution basically known as the software-based approach, where you don't have to worry about data center. See, your data center has been completely removed, but still you can find data center is going to be your infrastructure, but directly from any router location, like at least 8000 series router, 8200 series router, any location you're going to communicate, it is going to be completely allow the communications without any kind of the compromising the security, routing efficiency, routing inability, and also they are going to make the complete flexible connectivity with the better connectivity. And if I go next, you can see this SDN solution can be deployed. If you look at that, it can be deployed in any deployment method. If you want to deploy the on premises, you can do that. Cloud based, you can do that. Multi-tenant deployment with that. I'll discuss what is multi-tenant. You can integrate the ML, AI, you can scale the network, you can make them programmable, you can make that, AI open and the network insights, automation. So means you can do the lot of integrations, AI emails, integration, deployment, any location, that's all possible. Any services you are sending toward this WAN transport, multi-cloud optimization, multi-layer security, analytics, voice, intent-based networking policy. This is all possible over any transport, satellite, internet, MPLS, 4G, 5G LTE, SDCI, software-defined cloud interconnect. So any kind of transport, any services, any type of deployment you can think, and any location you want to deploy, branch, colo, cloud, remote work, that all possible. So it's very flexible, software-based approach, and that is going to be give intent-based networking. Intent-based networking, that means whatever I want, whatever my organization want, still I can just use and leverage these all things, and I can do the all deployment. All right. Now, if I do a solution architecture, so this is the official document by the Cisco. So this slide is 2 years back, and just 2 years back, only this Cisco SD-WAN come in a picture. Means Cisco Catalyst SD-WAN come in a picture. Before 2024, there was 𝗵𝗃𝗯, there was Cisco, but Catalyst come in a picture in around 2024. Now, if you talk about what changed in the Catalyst SD-WAN, so old name you can just refer here. Old name was Cisco SD-WAN. The new name become the Cisco Catalyst SD-WAN. So this is just rebranding. Here, as I mentioned that Cisco did the rebranding, nothing more than that. So old name was Cisco SD-WAN. They changed as the Cisco Catalyst SD-WAN. vManage change as a manager, Catalyst manager. Analytics change as a just analytics. vBond change as a validator. vSmart change as a controller. So you have to just keep in your mind. This mapping always keep in your mind. If you're going in the interview, somebody asks me, hey, can you just explain the role of the validator? Don't be confused. Just think it's a vBond. And I need to explain about the vBond. Okay. Similarly, self portal that the become as a Cisco Catalyst SD-WAN portal, and cloud deliver still cloud deliver, but Catalyst SD-WAN is going to be there. Documentation also it change. You can see documentation also is change, all change. And you can see display on the screen on document means GUI, you can just find that, but CLI is still same. CLI, if I'm login, even I'm using the Catalyst SD-WAN, but my vManage is going to in CLI vManage only, vBond only, vSmart only. So don't be confused. CLI is not change it. Means still you are going to log in these controller via CLI. You're going to find the vBond, vSmart, and vManage by default. We can change the name manually, but by default, when you log in the CLI, these controllers, you're going to find as a name as a vBond, vSmart. But on the GI, you're going to get the different name. So like you can see here, if I'm going here in one of the onboarded SDN solutions, see, this is my portal, Cisco Catalyst SD-WAN, for which we are going to work in our session. In this Catalyst SD-WAN, if I'm going to log in, so you see, if I'm going to log in this my Catalyst SD-WAN, okay, so you can see here right now it's loading and still loading. It will take some time. Sometime it's, let me open different browser. It's taking a little bit longer time. Hold on, guys. I need to restart this box. Okay, now it's fine. So sometimes this is a new OS, right, guys? It's a very new, latest OS code you're working. So there are a lot of might be bug you are going to find in the lab also. So even this is the first pilot batch I'm launching on this code, and this code is super latest. You're not going to find this code in the anyone in the industry who is going to train on that particular code. So if you go here and about 2015.1. So this is super latest code. So there is some bug, some kind of the issue in the lab infrastructure, but still I have tested a lot of things and it's working fine, but sometimes it's some glitches I also observed. So you can see validator, controller, manager, these all are available. So this is the controller. But if I go in the CLI, let's suppose I want to go in the CLI. So simply I go in the tools and take the SSH. If you take the CLI of this, let's suppose controller. So this is going to come as a vSmart. But right now I change manually. So it is going to show as a controller only, but might we are going to find as a vSmart. So you don't be confused because as per the official documentation, it's going to be a vSmart only. See, it's a controller, but might be you're going to find like this one. I cannot make changes, I believe. Let me try because it's a GUI base. I cannot make changes because it's a, let me do the validator. Validator, I can make changes. So let me show you how it is going to look like if I'm going to log in it, admin. Come on. Okay. So if you go here, config T, system, host name, it's going to look like this one. So you just commit. So when you go login, if you're not making any explicit changes in your controller, CLI is going to show this name. And this is the same thing documentation is showing that. Means even SDN solution you're going to, means SDN Catalyst SDN solution are going to log in. You're probably going to find this vManage, vAnalytics, and vSmart and vBond. So don't be confused. It's a normal things. Clear? Now moving further. If anyone have any questions, please let me know. I will take your questions. Raise your hand, put your question in chat. Anything you can do that.
Sir, this CLI have you already changed?
Yes, I have already changed, but we'll deploy from zero. So don't worry. This is a demo lab. I will do all configuration from scratch. So you'll find everything as per documentation. So don't worry. This port lab, I am doing testing since last 1 month for different scenarios. So because of the launching of the new batch, that's why last 2 months I didn't launch any batch because I was busy on this particular code. But almost still I have done a lot of testing, but still some testing is pending because it's very new code, complete new UI, complete new way of the deploying, doing configurations. So that's why it's taking time. But yes, we are going to deploy from scratch. You guys are also going to get from scratch based learning.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Now you can see, as I mentioned that in this SDN solutions, you are going to get like validator, manager, analytics, and the controllers. And this is a branch. So this is the branch is going to stay on our data plane. Control plane and controllers, these two terms are different. So don't be confused. Control plane and controllers. Control planes and controllers, right? Sometimes it looks very confusing. Control planes, controller, the same thing. Or might be you're going to be understand they all are same controller, which are the vManage, validator, and controller. It's not like that. Basically, in overall, in general, we talk control planes. And when I talk the control planes, we'll talk about the manager, controller, and validator. But even in the control plane, we have the bifurcations. The management plane, orchestration plane, and the control plane. So management plane, only one device we have, that is a manager. Orchestration plane, only one device we have, that is a validator. And the control plane, we have the smart, that is the controller. and data plane is a router. So always remember, control planes looks very okay, but again we have the bifurcations. Control planes, that means we have the control plane dedicated vSmart, that is a controller, and management is the manager, and the orchestration plane is going to be validator. Clear, everyone? This is, I hope, clear, right? No doubt. And data plane is the actual router. So keep this concept always in your mind. Now, moving further, guys, let's discuss one by one each and every component so we can understand why we're using this management plane. What is the role of this management plane? So if I talk about the management plane, what device is going to be there? Anyone? Quickly, just be fast. What device is going to be the management plane?
Manager.
Manager. Okay. So he is the boss of the network. So this is the manager, and talking about that. So why we use the manager in the Cisco SD-WAN fabric? Why we use the manager in the Cisco SD-WAN fabric? So whenever you're going to start any deployment in the SDN, and that is known as the day zero deployment. Any deployment if you're going to do for the SDN, the very first thing you need that is a manager. If there is no manager, you cannot start doing deployment of the SDN solutions. So that's why manager is going to use a single pane of glass for D0, day 1, day 2 operations. What does mean? Single pane of glass means it is going to be one of the centralized dashboard. By doing this centralized dashboard, you can start doing deployment of entire SD-WAN fabric. And that's why you can see here, if I go in my this particular component, you'll find there this screen is basically nothing, it's my manager. See, this is my manager. You can see in front of me, this screen is basically manager. So everything I'm going to do that, this is my Cisco SD-WAN manager. So whatever you want to do that means doing the configuration, troubleshooting, logs reporting, any kind of the PDF generations, any kind of the policy enforcement, means everything you can do from here. That is a single pane of glass. By single pane of glass means by sitting on this, you can monitor everything. You can take GUI access, CLI access, you can do everything on this particular dashboard. That's why it's a manager is going to be there. Now, what else it can do that? This manager is also responsible for any kind of your centralized provisioning. This centralized provisioning means you want to do any kind of the router deployment, template creations, strike policy, template, you can do that. I'll discuss the multi-tenant, hold for a while. You can do the troubleshooting, monitoring, you can also do that. You want to upgrade the software, downgrade the software, you can do via this particular dashboard only. You want to take the GUI access, you want to give the role-based access, you can do that. You want to go do the third-party API integration based on the programming interface, REST conf, net conf is going to be there. It is also going to be highly resilient. Highly resilient means you can deploy two vManage. If one is going to be down, still you have another vManage where you can just, fail over the services. And in case of the down, it's going to fail over the services and it is going to carry your all traffic. So that's why you have the management plane. And this is very important. Very first deployment, you have to do that. Now you have the also one component that is the basically multi-tenant. What is a multi-tenant with the web scale? What does mean multi-tenant? Multi-tenant means when you're going to buy this particular vManage, means you want to deploy this vManage. There is two options. You can deploy single instance for your company. Means you are going to use this vManager for the one company. Just think about it in this way. You are going to stay in the Gurugram or Noida or Delhi, and you are the alone. So you're going to the paying guest, and this is the one room. This room might be going to be shared with 2 and 3 people. But you say, no, I want to pay full rent, but I will stay just 1 people I need to stay. So everything is going under my room. Means nobody is going to understand what I'm doing, whether I'm sleeping, not sleeping, talking to phone, enjoying some party. Means I'm the alone in the room, so no have the access. But if this room is going to shared by the 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, so everyone can at least see who is doing what. So privacy is going to be a little bit compromised, but your cost is going to be low. But if you're going to stay in the single, your cost is going to be high and privacy is going to be very high for you as well. Security is very high for you. Similar when vManage, if you want to use a shared system, so you taking this license from Cisco and you say, no, I want to just use a shared method like the VRM. So multi-tenant is going to create this vManage for the multiple tenant, means multiple, let's suppose you are the providers and you have the multiple customers. So you can create the multi-tenant environment for the vManager, and same multi-tenant, same vManage can be shared with the multiple customer, and every customer have their isolated unit. They are not going to see another customer details, but still they are going to use the same hardware, same resource, same virtual image. So that is going to be a little bit less secure. So multi-tenant we can create that, and centralized provisioning, as I mentioned, that we can do that. That is also a great feature. Policy template, troubleshooting, software upgrade, and programming interface, that is known as the programmatic interface, REST-conf, NetConf, highly that is going to be resilience. So this is a key feature of the management plane. Okay, so I hope you guys are aware about it. Any questions before I move next slide, guys? All good? Give me thumbs up. All good? All right. Great. Further, guys, next slide. If I talk about orchestration plane, what is the orchestration plane? Which device is going to be on orchestration plane? Anyone quickly?
Validator.
Yes, validator. And what is the second name of the validator?
vBond.
vBond.
And this is the Mr. James Bond. Okay.
Hmm.
One of the most powerful device in the your SD-WAN fabric. Without this vBond, you cannot, onboard any kind of the fabrics. So you can see that the definition mentioned that orchestrate, control, and management plane. What does mean orchestrate? Means it is going to decide who is actual right candidate who can bring the control connections and communicate with the management plane by doing some kind of the first point of the authentication, that is a whitelist model. So we discuss one of the term, might be in the general discussion, zero trust fabric. Let me use a different pen, guys. This is very difficult to write. So we discuss about one of the term, that is a zero trust fabric. Anyone know what does mean zero trust fabric? Any idea anyone have? Any idea?
We'll check the connected switches are what are the connected, will not allow the outsiders or the intruders to violate.
Okay, good try.
Authenticate yourself with the manager.
Okay.
Application.
Yeah. So zero trust fabric means any device want to communicate with the any controllers within the same device also, even the validator, even the manager, even the analytics. Zero trust fabric means they have to prove your identity. Take an example. Let's suppose you crack the interview for the Accenture India or British Telecom in India, or might be the SL in India. Your interview is cleared. You're very good. But when you go to join the company, your joining formality is going to be completed. And what is joining formalities? They are going to make sure you are the right candidate. So they will initiate your background verifications, your document verifications, their Aadhaar card. They know that you are the only who cleared the interview, but still they will do all your record verifications. And only they will allow if your all record is going to be clear. If anything is going to mismatch, they will not allow. That is a zero trust fabric. Means even I know you, let's take another example. Let's suppose I make a rule. If my kids are going out of my home, okay, I will only open a door if they will say the code which I set for my family. So it might be a possibility my kids are going in the outside, somebody clone my kids. It's not like going to be possible, but just think about that. Somebody did some kind of the manipulations and make the similar kind of products by doing the plastic surgery and all, and they might be coming. So I will think this is my kid, but this might be not my kids. There is some kind of the uh, unnecessary things is going to enter my house. So I need a code, and that code is going to tell by my script. Then only so I can recognize my kid. This is my kid, but still I'm not trusting. I will ask, no, please tell me your code. Then I will allow in my house. That is zero trust fabric. Zero trust means you never going to trust anyone. First, they have to prove the identity, and then I will trust you. So same thing is the this particular first point is authentication whitelist model. Your vBond is always going to authenticate all your devices. Anyone is coming, they have the two unique thing. One is a serial number and second is the certificate. If these two things are going to be matched in their database, then only going to authenticate. If not going to authenticate, you are the even Cisco SD-WAN product. They were not going to allow to communicate to the any other devices. So this is the first point of the authentication and whitelisting model. It's going to act as a HR. Just only one major responsibility. Second responsibility of the validator, we want facilitate net reversals. What are net reversals? Let's suppose any VANS devices behind the NAT. You are going to create the control connection with the private IP address. You are actually behind the ISP router. So NAT traversals is the feature who is going to even allow the control connection over the private connections if you are doing the NAT traversals feature enable for these all communication. So I will discuss separately about the NAT traversals. So whatever the NAT entry you are going to create, that all entry is going to maintain by the validator. These are two major things. One is the whitelisting. Second is the NAT traversals feature, and based on that, they're going to be allow the connections. The third thing, guys, once they're going to validate yourself, they will distribute list of the controller manager to all managed routers. Means once you're going to be authenticated, they will tell you, hey, who is your manager, who is your controller? You can just go and communicate. And finally, this can be also your highly resilience. What that means highly resilience? Means one is going to be down, another is going to be take your roles. So that's why it's going to be highly resilience. Okay. I hope it is also clear to all. Any questions anyone have in this slide? All right, very good. Now, another component we have that is known as the controller. Why you need a controller? Why we need the validator? Validator is to validate. Make sure you are the right candidate. Maintain your NAT reversal entry. Manager is to do all configuration. Every policy you can define there. Every routing configuration you can do there, right? Any kind of the troubleshooting you can do that. But if we want to do routing policy in your fabric, if you want to do routing and policy in your fabric, see, here you can only configure, but it is going to pass the configuration on this device, this device, this device. It's just kind of the admin tool. Think about it. He is going to be gather all the information. You can just do the configuration, but actually he will not take any routing decisions. He will not take any kind of authentication decisions. No, this is not going to take that decisions. Authentication is going to take by this one. Configuration you can do this one. You cannot do the configuration on the validator. You cannot do the configuration on your controller. You cannot do the troubleshooting on the controller. You cannot do troubleshooting on the validator. You can do troubleshooting on the manager. So controller is basically responsible to do any routing requirement. If you want to do any routing requirement, this is going to done by the controller. So basically it's manage the Give me 1 second, guys, but it's not working. So basically, this box is going to responsible. It's manage the routing. Simple. So if you want to manage the routing, this is going to manage your routing. It's manage the policy. But this is a half statement. It's not a full statement. If I'm talking to manage the policy, it is a half statement. Because policy is going to be two types. One is centralized policy. We'll discuss later. Versus we have the localized policy. So the full statement is going to be manage the only centralized policy, not localized policy. But in general, we talk it's manage the policy. These are major two responsibility. Third responsibility, if you are just building any 𝗖𝗃 connection, their key is also going to be exchanged by this particular controller. So these are major three functionality. Now let's understand this. Facilitate fabric discovery. What does mean? Facilitate fabric discovery does mean, right, if you are building any fabric, their routing informations are going to exchange by your controller, and that is going to help to discover which subnet connected where and how I can reach that. And similarly, disseminate control plane information between the vManage router. So facilitate fabric discovery, disseminate control plane. This is the routing informations. So both statements are basically going to complement each other. So don't be confused. Means end result is by the help of the SD-WAN controller, we can discover the fabric end-to-end reachability, OMP route, everything is going to be there. And any other service route VPNs are connected. I'll discuss what is service route VPN. Their distribution, routing, they all are going to be exchanged. Also distribute data plane, app-aware routing policy, as I just discussed that. Means any policy, centralized policy. These are centralized policy. You are going to configure. It is going to be discussed. Centralized policy is three types: data plane, application aware, and control plane. So any centralized policy, data policy, application aware routing policy, and control policy. These are three types of the policy in centralized. These all are going to be handled by your vSmart. And definitely this is going to be also dramatically reduce the control plane complexity, because it's going to be very simple routing exchange between the one router and another router via the vSmart. So you can easily troubleshoot. You don't have to lot of devices to go and check. You by sitting in the vSmart, you can just check what is happening in my fabric. So in short, controllers are the brain. Actually, brain out of these three controllers, these are the only authenticator. This is the only for the configuration troubleshooting, but this is the only brain who is responsible to manage the end-to-end routing and your policy decisions. Routing plus centralized policy decisions. So this is going to act as your brain and nervous system. And definitely we required again highly resilience. Why it's highly resilient? Because if you want to deploy the single vSmart, if it is going to fail, so what is going to happen? You're going to lose the entire connectivity. So you just have to make sure you have the redundant connections, and based on that redundant connections, you can just fail over the connections in case of any failure is going to happen. This is the controller. So now we discuss third plane of your control plane. Any question on this slide, guys? All good? Okay. Last but not least, we have the we have the data plane. What is data plane, guys? Data plane is actually your router. You can see in every slide it's getting highlighted. So data plane is routers. Any routers, any location you're deploying, cloud-based, data center, branch, campus, Soho network, anywhere you're deploying. It doesn't matter where you're deploying that. These data plane are basically your vManage router that is going to provide the secure data plane with the remote vManage routers. What does mean? That means if you want to communicate from here to here, this router, it will create and it will provide one of the secure data plane, that is your IPsec tunnel is going to build. Secure data plane is basically you are going to build within router to router IPsec tunnel. I will discuss this in very detail, but think about they are going to give the secure data plane with the remote vManage router. And how it is possible? Via the IPsec. Also, they will establish the routing. This is going to establish the routing. This all router is going to establish the routing with the your vSmart controller. So these are going to be established the routing. In what protocol they are going to use that? OMP. So OMP stand for Overlay Management Protocol. Not it. We are going to use that. Not IPsec, OMP. These two terms we are going to talk again and again. So vSmart to vEdge routers, we run the OMP. And IPsec run between which devices? Anyone quickly? Super fast. IPsec tunnel run between which devices?
Edge devices.
Only between edge to edge devices. One more thing you guys can note it. We'll discuss later on definitely. OMP tunnel run between the vEdge to smart and smart to smart also we can run the OMP. Clear? So OMP run between two locations. vEdge to smart and smart to smart. Just for your knowledge. No other device run the OMP. Because this is the only device who can make the routing. So if I'm not going to run the OMP between the smart to smart, in case of any failure is going to happen, how I can just, exchange the routes. So that's why you are going to use the OMP communication between the router to router as well. Now, it will also going to be implement data plane application aware routing policy. Means if you are going to create any policy in the vManage, this policy via vSmart to the router is going to push. If there is a two policy, we'll discuss later. I'm just talking. There is two policy. One is the control policy. Might be you guys not aware. Don't be, take as a very serious what I'm talking. You're not able to understand. Just note it. Control policy and data policy. We can configure this policy. Where we can configure this policy? Anyone know that? Where we can configure this policies?
Control policy on controller and data policy on edge router.
No, where we can do the configuration? Which device is responsible to do all the configuration?
vSmart
Manager,
controller.
No. Which device, from which device we can do all the configuration?
Manager.
Manager. So yeah, if I'm talking about any configuration, just it was a small test. If I'm talking to any configuration, the configuration must be going to happen on the manager only. Config. If I'm talking any config things, it's always going to happen to the manager. But if it's the control policy, it will only stay to the vSmart. But if it's data policy, it can come from here and then it will come to here as well. Means router as well. So that's what they're talking about. Implement data plane and application aware routing policy. Even the data policy and application. There is another policy, AAR. This is known as the AAR policy. In that case, they are going to be just communicate from this to this locations. So this is the implement data plane and the application routing policy. Also, yes, Mohammed, any questions you have, guys? It means
Yeah,
Mohammed.
so is the manager talking with edge routers through controller only, or like it can talk directly as well?
Directly as well. We are talking about the policy. Manager can talk directly with the routers.
So what protocol is used there?
I will talk. There's a separate protocol, TLS and DTLS. I will explain that all things. Okay. So we have the different set of the understanding. Let me complete, then I'll discuss all how it is going to happen in the backend.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Now we have the export performance statistics. That means what is your link utilizations, what is the loss, latency, jitter on the interface. You can find all these from the router. You can integrate the traditional routing as well. Leverage a traditional routing port like BGP you can use, OSPF you can use, EIGRP you can use. All routing protocol you can use that and integrate with the OMP. Means you can advertise with the OMP, you can redistribute the OMP. At the same time, they support the zero touch deployment. What is zero touch deployment? As I discussed in our demo sessions, zero touch deployment means even you want to just plug and play the router without doing any configuration, even your router is going to be configured automatically. And that is your zero touch deployment. And this device can be your virtual device, can be your hardware device. So you can just deploy in the virtual infrastructure and the hardware infrastructure. So in our lab, all devices are virtual and they are the actual real devices. Don't be confused. It's not like the simulation software. No, it's the real SD-WAN fabric, but we deploy in the some simulation software. And that's why you can see we have the Catalyst 8000 V real image. We have the VH image. You can see here VH image also we have. We have the Catalyst 8000, Catalyst 8000, Catalyst 8000. We have the firewall, we have the hub switch. So this topology are designed in such way. Whatever you can think, we have the internet link, we have the MPLS link. So whatever we want to discuss, whatever we want to deploy, that all we can do testing and deployment in our infrastructure. So this is how it is going to look like. Now, I hope it's clear to everyone, right? No questions? Let me know if you have any question.
Yeah, I have one question.
Yes, Praveen, go ahead, please.
Yeah, as you said that V controller, V edge, and that vBond. V edge is we have a hardware device. Okay, but controller is a means virtual device or is it is
Okay.
a hardware?
Next slide will give the answer. Okay. Wait for a while.
Okay.
Now let's talk about the control deployment. This is what you're talking about. Control deployment strategy. So if you talk about the controller deployment, controllers can be deployed in the on premises. If you want to deploy, means your on data center you want to deploy, you can deploy that controller. Or you can deploy in the Cisco managed service partner or customer hosted as well. Even you want to deploy as a Azure based deployment, you can do that. Certified cloud based deployment, you can want to do that. You can do that. Government cloud based, you want to do deployment, you can do that. So you can deploy controller any locations. If you have the on-premise data center, you can do that. But these controllers doesn't have any physical box. Okay. They come as a virtual image, could be the 𝗂𝗂 file, right? You might be 𝗂𝗂 file, or might be it's going to come as a OVA file. And these files can be deployed if you're deploying the on-premises, like in our case, means the lab you're going to do that. This is your deployment. Actually, 100% the same deployment. We have the physical server. Under this physical server, we are running the ESXi. Under ESXi, we are running this all controller as a OVA file. And based on that, we have the reachability and we have the lab infrastructure in front of as a GUI for you. So these devices going to be never as a physical device. It's going to be always as a virtual device, as a 𝗂𝗂 file or the OVA file, and you have to just import in the your on-premises ESXi or KVM infrastructure. Similarly, you can deploy in the Cisco platform. You don't want to use your own platform, you can rent the controller on Cisco platform. They will charge monthly, annually. You can deploy in the Azure, you can deploy AWS, GCP, Alibaba, government cloud, anywhere. But this is never going to physical hardware. Praveen, is it answer your query?
Yes, now clear.
Okay. Now, if I move in the next slide, this is a demo and all they're talking about. Okay, now talk about the this device, what I can call routers. Router can be your physical, can be virtual. So this is the virtual. These all are the virtual, but even you want to buy the physicals, lot of model are available. Cisco, let me show in this way. If I go here, I'll show all the models. Go in the template, classic template. See classic template. And if you're creating any feature template, you can find the all device model. See ASR, CT routers. See, these are all device model available. See, You can find the catalyst 1000V, that is the virtual we are going to use. Catalyst 8200, 8300 is a physical device, 8500. You can see 8500L. There are GC routers also available. We have the CSR 1000V. We have the controllers. That is a, you can see the name is controller. That is a your, which device it is? Controller is a second name. What is second name? Anyone know that? Controller. What is second name?
vSmart.
vSmart. Okay. You go ISR router, you can find here. Manager, it's a vManage. So you can have, see, this is a VH 1000, 5000, 200, and VH Cloud also. So physical device you need to purchase, and virtual device you can need to deploy in your simple infrastructure in the lab or might be the your data centers. Okay, so the next step, we have the good understanding. Now, how next approach is going to happen? So what I will do that, I will create a very fresh new lab. So let me put as the master lab. This is going to be our master lab for testing. Now, this lab I'm not going to touch, but I will just clone one more lab. And this lab is going to be, which month we are? June, right?
June.
June 2026. Weekdays batch. Okay. So I'm creating this topology for you. Now, if I go in this topology now, because I clone it, this topology doesn't have any single line configuration. It's a completely blank topology. It's just topology. And we have to do from scratch all the configuration. And I did a lot of homework for you guys to make your life easy. Let me show you what I have done all. Definitely there is lab guides, but I prepare a lot of notepad configurations for the initial setups. Just for the, I'll convert in this on lab guide because this is the something very first time I'm building on the new versions, but it's more or less similar to the old versions. Lab guides are already there. So I will give this initially text file to you all, so you guys can deploy your controller. You can just build your base configuration. You can do some deployment, which router, how configuration I can do that. I will do some modification in this configuration script while doing the lab configuration. So you guys will understand why I prepared this configuration, how I can integrate with the new lab guides. So it is going to be available, but you guys can just take as a reference, not copy paste. Okay, that's my recommendation. Not do copy paste, because I'm giving the configuration. It doesn't mean you just go and do the copy paste. No. Try to do as much as possible manual configuration. Unless or until you are not going to do the manual configuration, you are not going to understand what is happening inside of the SDN solution. So the first goal is our in upcoming class, which is going to happen on the Monday. We are going to onboard controller. So before onboarding the controller, we have to set up this vManager controller. Means how, what is the first command we have to do that? We will see that we'll do the setup for the validator. We'll do setup for the 𝗵𝗃 as well. The password is also mentioned here. We'll set up for a DC switch. The IP schema is also very new as per the old configurations. So this is going to be complete set of the new things. Also, you are going to build the underlay connectivity with the two transport. One is the MPLS, one is the internet. This underlay is going to build here. And this must be going to be connect with these sites as well, right? So most of the time we are going to work on the ch, and also we are going to work on the vh as well. If any challenges you will face like some feature not supporting in the lab, we'll try to test on the vh. I'll add one more vh in that case. So probably I'll add one more vh here, or I can put these two sides as a vh. I'll put this side as a ch. So we have the similar kind of the all feature available in across the fabric. So might be this the new code. So some feature even I tested is not working correctly as per the old features. So I will find the workaround, or might be we'll test in the some different scenario. Is it fine as of now, guys? Are we excited in the next class to start doing this hand dirty in the lab infrastructure? Because we have some basic foundations, now we can start doing some kind of the infrastructures level configurations and deployment.
Sir, one question.
Yes, please.
Sir, how like this dashboard is getting created? I mean, we have vManage, but we will do some basic config through CLI or something, then that's dashboard will come, right? How it is, I mean, opening.
Yeah, that's already I have done this. So you guys also have to do that. I will show you. When I do the configuration, that's the vManager is the very first thing. So from this vManager, we have the two connectivity. One is the from here, one is from here as well. So I will configure this vManage, and from this PC, will take the your GUI access this dashboard. You guys can take from this PC. I can take from directly from my LAN because I am the same network. But this is going to be your root C is going to be your admin PC and the root C. Let me put it admin PC, and it's going to act as a root C as well. So you guys will do everything from this device.
How about in real environment? If some like, suppose if there is some new customer and they are taking new new SD-WAN solution, so how this dashboard will come? Will it be
Via the
given
public IP address? So you have to take public IP address, or you have to use the private IP address, but you have to do the NAT and all. So you have to make the reachability over the internet, then only you can do the access. You accessing any kind of website like www.bnet.com, how are you accessing? Because the DNS record is there, right? You're making the public IP reachability. Similar thing you have to do with the vManage. If you're accessing from the public IP, then you have to do DNS lookup public IP reachability. If you're using the private IP address, then you have to advertise your management IP over your internal network. I will show you, Mohammed, how it is going to happen.
One thing, sir. So first of all, we need to configure the vManage first. After that, we can
Yes.
go others.
First thing we have to take GUIX of the vManage. This is the very first task. We have to do the CLI configuration. We have to take the GUIX of the vManage. If this is going to be completed, then we can move step by step other devices onboarding.
Okay, one thing, if I configure the vManage, or after the configure the vManage, all the device will connect to the vManage automatically, or we need to
No. We have to do all device configuration. Nothing will going to connect. Even the vManage, even if you take the GUIXs, it is not going to be full functional unless you're going to complete the certification and all.
Okay.
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 So, 𝗲𝗏,
do we have access?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Do we have access for lab?
Still not. I will give once I'll start the lab access by Monday. So you guys are going to get the even lab access individual. I'll deploy the same lab for your board. So you're going to access that lab. Also the demo as well. How you can access the lab. Still, there is no lab access to anyone. Now, talking 𝗲𝗏, Leela asked me, this lab practice will be done by the individual, by the group. So 𝗲𝗏, as of now, this is the new code, and this new code required a lot of resources, right?
Yeah.
In all old code, what was the happening? We try to give the individual, means we definitely give the individual port for everyone. There is no sharing basis port.
Okay.
But this lab port is taking a lot of resources. So I will try to give the individual port initially, okay, for all. If it is not going to take a load, so there is two options is going to happen. We have to back in the old code and we have to do testing in the old code. That is one thing. Or what I can do that I can make pair of two people. So you guys, I create the group for the two people along with me, and you guys can, do practice, do sharing, and just do the coordinate each other. You do some configuration. Your friend will do some configuration. So that is going to be save the resources, and you guys can do practice. And this lab is going to be 24/7. So even two people are working, it's not going to be challenges. So even you are going to be find one friend who is going to help you in case of any troubleshooting required. Okay.
Sure.
So I will explore everything. Thank you, Rakeshji. This is noted. All right. So any other questions, guys? Anyone have?
सर इसका रिकॉर्डिंग कैसे मिल सकता है जो आप हम लोग जो पढ़ रहे
Okay, recording is going to be available on the portal. The class recording is going to be there in 2026 batch SD-WAN. This is a new batch, okay? So you guys can find the recording in this section. So just go and talk with your counselor or my support team. Just say hi, hello on the support number. This is number, okay?
Okay.
And ask them to give the recordings for this batch. So they will add you.
Okay, sir.
All right. Okay, so are you good to celebrate Friday night or go and sleep with the family or still any questions?
Okay, I have only last question. So when we that power on our vEdge, okay, router. So first he will connect with the vSmart, right?
Yes, technically
And
yes.
then,
If they have the under eligibility, subject to under eligibility. I'll discuss what is the under eligibility. Yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then it will go to for the validator and then manager.
Validator is vSmart only. So it will connect to the validator and then he will introduce to the manager and then it will go to the controller.
Okay.
I will show you sequence by all the steps.
Okay, sure.
All right, guys. Happy Friday. See you again Monday. Bye-bye. Take care,
Yeah.
guys. Take a good rest. Bye-bye. Take care, everyone.
Thank
RK, I
you.
noted your number and all. We'll connect again. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you, Vijay.
Okay. Vijay asked me before, the last Vijay asked me before joining which I should like BGP, IPsec, MPLS. So Vijay, you just have to brush up static routing and some iBGP and eBGP. That is going to be enough for you. Okay, Vijay?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Just try to brush up BGP on weekend. iBGP, eBGP, try to do some lab practice and static routing. You're going to grab.